Hello, hello, hello there. Hey guys, you're welcome to the Ryan and Claude show. See, yeah, you know what's going on out here. This is the second episode. I think we have a little bit uh, of a audio problem here. Coming to get out of the way. Can you hear me,
Yeah.
Ryan? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I've got you. Have you got me?
Oh we're back. We just had a little bit of an audio problem there, so we're right back at the Ryan and Claude show, and this is the second episode of our flagship show down here in Tony Claude Ghana TV, and you're welcome, guys. For everyone joining us from Twitter, everyone joining us from Facebook, everyone joining us from Instagram, and those are subscribers joining us from Twitch and every other place. Thank you very, very much. And you're welcome to the Ryan and Claude show. Ryan Maguire, you're welcome to the show today. How are you doing, mate?
Tony? Great. Doing well, doing well. Another good day. Another great weekend of football. Everyone that's watching, thank you very much for watching. Whacking comments in and let's discuss them.
Yeah. Yes. Ryan, without further ado, let's go into some of the matches that were being played last weekend. What do you say to this? West Ham, West Ham versus Nottingham Forest. I'll just leave it to you to just talk about that because that was a big one. So, what do you think about that one?
I think West Ham haven't started at all very well. They want to look. They're going to be looking for top six, breaking into that top six this season, and they need to get better quick. Obviously, they did have a good game against Forest. They did create chances. They
Yeah,
went very close twice, hitting the crossbar and it bouncing down pretty much on the line, but
yeah,
they're just not sticking it in the back of the net. Um, Forest goal was very scruffy. I think that's the kind of goal that Forest are going to get this year. Them kind of scruffy goals getting over the line. Can see Forest struggling as well, but they're getting them victories that they need. Them West Ham's a good victory for them. One they probably would have looked at to say that is one of the clubs we maybe can beat anyone in the lower half and break into that top. And I think it is a good win for them. West Ham though they're gonna come away from that after playing well and losing. They're going to be a bit
yeah,
disheartened. I would think. Obviously, you play bad and you lose, you're annoyed because you've not shown up or whatever. But then it can be worse playing well
yeah,
and losing as well. It's not a good sign.
yeah. Ryan, there's a growing situation in the Premiership. This is why we say this is the best league in the world. You can see what Fulham did on the opening day against Liverpool,
Yeah,
and this weekend we saw a team that we know they're gonna finish at least top seven in the league, West Ham. That's if you want to check their their last Premier League campaign and bring it into this new one. And Fulham kind of like pulled off a draw against Liverpool, and now Nottingham Forest pulls off this big win against a legitimate top seven team
yeah,
in the
yeah.
Premiership. Is this looking like a setting reoccurrence, or like
It's
are
just
these teams just coming from the Championship really thinking, hey guys, I think these teams are up for the taking, even the big teams as they show it against Liverpool?
Yeah, 100%, 100%. They come up with no fear, and they just a lot of them just show no fear and just go for it. It's probably the only league in the world that it happens that the promoted teams will go to the second in the league, arguably the second best team in the league, and get a draw like that, not just scrape a draw, deserve the draw, and then
Yeah,
like you said. Forest gone to West Ham. Obviously, West Ham aren't top four, but they're still a big team, and you expect to turn them
Very
kind
big
of things
team.
over. And like no promoted team in Spain or Holland are turning up and beating a West Ham type team.
Western.
No team
Yeah,
is getting
exactly.
promoted. No team is getting promoted and drawing with Dortmund on the first game. It's just
Yeah,
you just don't see it other than in the Premier League, which is so competitive. It's so tough, so strong, so physical that when you go to the teams that play in the bottom half and you're getting results, you getting
yeah,
draw a win, keeping clean sheets. You can see what I'm saying here. When you're doing that,
yeah,
you know you're onto a good one because it's such a tough league, and you can tell with the new some of the new signings that have come in this year, the big signings are struggling slightly. They will adapt, you would expect, but you can just tell it's not like what it is. There's a comment from Kai Havertz when he went to Chelsea when he first signed at
yeah,
Chelsea. He
yeah,
said he's speaking to a journalist or speaking not actually in news, just like normal conversation, and he said he went to Brighton on a Monday
yeah.
night and just did not expect it to be that hard.
Expected,
He
right?
did not expect it to be that hard, and it's just what the league is. It, it it's a great league, and it? It's great.
Yeah, because right now, gone are those days. There's little championship teams coming to the Premiership, gain promotion into the big leagues, and then they come to a place like Liverpool and get walloped like 7-0, or they go to a Manchester United and get walloped like 5-0, 6-0. Probably maybe only a Manchester City can be able to pull that off. But at this time, these newly promoted teams they're really up for the scrap. They're really, really up for the scrap. And you can even say Nottingham Forest, Lingard, Jesse Lingard. You remember that guy from Manchester United. People say he went there for money, but one thing I've actually seen is that these teams, they look more inwards. He didn't score the goal. He was a little bit, uh, instrumental in their first game. At least it carried them a little bit forward. But they are actually looking inwards and looking at the other players around them to get them the goals. They make it more physical, and they have lots of younger guys, the younger generation, trying to, earn their name in the league, and all of them are all fighting for it without the big names. What do you say to this, Ryan? And big ups, Oscar Dash. Big ups, you welcome here. Big ups to Ogbeni Ridwan, you welcome here. Tonya Have, you welcome here. You welcome here. Koi, come on, you Gunners. Lee Izeko, you are welcome to the show. Big up, guys, and the United family. Allah, sit back and enjoy the show. Thank you, guys. You're welcome to the show. So, what do you say to this, Ryan?
Yeah. They're just properly up for it. It all the players were going for it, weren't they? They just showed. I won't say I was going to say they looked more up for it than West Ham, but they didn't. It was pretty evenly matched in terms of attempts on goal and stuff. Yeah, but
Yeah.
like you're saying, if Lingard doesn't show up, someone else
Someone
is
else is it's just
going to
right
turn up.
there to,
Yeah,
yeah, to just up the ant and make sure they put in the goal there and get the much coveted win. Okay, I'll give you the dynamics of a little bit of the dynamics of that game, but this time bordering on the striker. West Ham were bombarding the post, the 18-yard box of Nottingham Forest, wave after wave after wave after wave of goal threats in and about the 18-yard box. They managed to cut across the midfield. Of course, they have more stronger players up in that midfield and in the striking role. Lanzini was there. Bowen was at the wings. They genuinely had a strength in that midfield and up there in the 18-yard box. But something was missing. The goals for West Ham was missing, and one thing that really puzzled me is that you go into the Serie A as West Ham Football Club, you go into the transfer market, you buy a player who's worth about close to 35 million pounds from the Italian Serie A, and then you bring him to London, and then he's not starting for you, and then your game against a newly promoted side, you are actually losing 1-0, and that striker you bought for about 34.5 million pounds isn't starting for you. What do you say to this?
Yeah,
Skamaka,
yes, Kamaka,
very great
obviously.
striker he is. He
Um,
didn't even start the game.
Obviously, there's an argument to not push him straight in, just like ease him into it. But after the first result, you would expect him to maybe just throw him in. Even Maxwell Cornet didn't start, which I see a lot of West Ham fans
Yeah,
just didn't understand. Um, yeah, he's got a bit. He's more of an out and out striker than what Antonio is. And
yeah,
Antonio's played about 8 different positions for me. I'm not sure if he knows exactly what
yeah,
his
yeah.
main position is. So I've seen him on his days sometimes, and he's bit played very well. But Skamaka's got to play, and Cornet's got to play.
He got to play. 35 million pounds sitting
Yeah,
on that bench. He has to play. Although, Antonio gives them a different dynamic in that position. He's ready to put pressure on defenders. He feeds off fear from defenders. He has that energy. He can run as a sprinter. Uh, but still, you still have to bring in your main man when you're in search of goals. And you just spent 35 million pounds in the transfer market, bringing a dangerous and deadly striker in the name of Skamaika. I don't know. Genuinely, Ryan, do you see West Ham breaking into that top seven this season, just like they did last season? Do you think
they've
they're anywhere around that this time?
they've got to be on it constant throughout the season if they want to be. It's going to be so tough this season. There's about 8, 9, 10 teams maybe competing for that. From the anything from I say it from fourth up to sixth, seventh.
Yeah,
That could be literally anyone. I think your top two are pretty much nailed on. I think your third place is pretty much nailed on, and then
yeah,
anything from fourth would not surprise me. Obviously, you'd expect the main ones to be it, but if it was Newcastle, honestly wouldn't surprise me if they kicked on West Ham again. But they just need to be on it because it's gonna be tough.
yeah. And of course, when we're in a league that many other people around you are dipping their hands into the transfer market, buying players, spending money. Look at Newcastle, just spending money. They're buying players, they're complementing the players they already have, and it's making them quite strong out there. I really don't see West Ham replicating their form from last season, but we'll see about that. Enough about West
It can
Ham.
always it can
Uh,
always turn, but yeah, it can always
um,
turn. But yeah,
yeah. Uh, Last weekend, this one against City Bournemouth, uh, another exceptional display from the league winners last season. City is here. They're here mauling teams, destroying teams, and molesting them, giving them excruciating beatings in and out of their home turf. Uh, this is harsh, and Bournemouth uh, we're at the back end of this lashing out this weekend from City. What do you say to this,
they've
Ryan?
they've ju- they've,
City
they've just
4, Bournemouth 0. Just a
they've just
classic City
started.
run.
They've started exactly like they finished. They look better. To be honest, they look better, and I don't understand how, but they just look better. I think Haaland's complimenting them up front. They're playing around him. He's hopefully
Yeah,
playing it off. I
and he
think
didn't
that's
have to score.
suiting
He
him
didn't
really
have
well.
to score.
No,
He
no,
didn't have to
he
score.
would have done. He would have done if Foden would have played him in. There's
Yeah,
a very good chance he played him in with shot instead. No complaints. They've won 4-0. But
yeah,
Haaland, you could see Haaland was a bit was fuming with it, but like you're saying, didn't need to score because obviously Gundogan stepped up with a great goal. Again, like I said, playing it in and off Haaland with some nice 1-2 touches, edge of the box, great finish from him. And then
yeah.
one of the best Premier League players ever, De Bruyne, stepped up with a really good goal as well. Nice
Oh,
outside of the foot finish.
that was an excellent goal, wasn't there?
Yeah,
Uh,
he's a funny player, De Bruyne, because he doesn't look like a good player. Like when you look at him, if you just look at him walking on, just the way he looks, he doesn't look like a
yeah,
good player. And then he
yeah.
gets the
He's a
ball and
beast.
he's out of this
He's
world.
a beast. He's a beast. The way he complements that midfield, you hardly even understand if it's your typical central midfielder. He attacks. He is there blocking off waves of attacks. He's there in the flanks, running up sometimes. He's up there in the mix, trying to get into those, trying to get those headers in the 18-yard box. He walks his socks off. You hardly think this is a guy that has won lots of championships or had lots of premiership titles in his armor. He's just ready. He's hungry. You could really see it. He's always running. He keeps running. He's just the perfect midfielder. He's just an
Yeah,
all-round midfielder. I
100%.
don't know. I would have really loved him at Arsenal, but you know we can't always get this good stuff all the time.
I think every team in the world would love him. He would
Yeah.
slot in, walk onto any single team,
Any first team,
Yeah,
there is completely no argument about
yeah.
Kevin De Bruyne. But what do you say about Godogan? He looked good in the weekend. Uh, they didn't even really need a Bernardo Silva. You know,
No. He
yeah,
played. Gundogan comes in and does the job
yeah,
every time he plays. He normally steps in when there's been an injury, so he comes in and he can get goals. He can just tackles very well. He's just completely on it. Like every Pep player always is, just completely up for it and will just play in their position or the 2-3 positions around them. And again, just doesn't stop and always pops up with a goal. Just a great player.
yeah.
This might be the season where he creeps into that first team if somehow Barcelona manage to sign Silva, which I can't
Silver,
see to be fair. But if they do,
yeah.
they don't need to sign a replacement because Gundogan can just step in.
They can just step in, and that's the thing with having exceptional players in your team and having a bench that looks like Man City's. It's just absolutely easy for you to kind of like replace lots of players that have their heads turned on with transfers going on in their head, just like Bernardo Silva. His head is turned from that. Barcelona transfer dealing that he wants to go to Barcelona. It's a known fact, and Pep could just hey, okay, you're not playing this week. Sit down on the bench. Come from the bench. Either way, they have a consistent team that would give them 4-0, 5-0, even against bigger teams. It's completely exceptional. Pep is just one step ahead of every other person. But what would you say about their new signing, Alvarez? Does it really give you the vibe of an Aguero kind of vibe?
I don't know. I
Does it
don't know
leave
much
that
about
taste
him.
in your mouth?
Yeah, well, honestly, I don't know much about him, but you get the feel from anyone involved in Man City that he is gonna be the next big thing. But like I said, I don't know much about him, but have it right. I didn't know much about Diaz when he came into Liverpool. I knew
Yeah,
he had kind of got some good stats in the first half of the season, before they signed
yeah,
him. And they sign him, they bring him in. He just goes straight into the team and is absolutely flying. So obviously, I'm not Man City's football scout. So, but like I said, everyone that's involved in Man City just I've just got this expectation that this kid's going to be the next big thing.
The
I'm
next
just
big thing.
I'm waiting
Yeah.
to see how it turns out.
One of our commentators here says something here. Hey, Zaki, Zaki is a very, very big friend of ours in this channel here. Zaki, big ups to you. I was Arsenal boss. We'll be talking about Arsenal. We'll keep the best for the last. Uh,
We'll,
yeah,
we'll get there.
look at this statement from our friend here, Lee Izeko. Mind you, Ryan, Lee Izeko is a bona fide member of this channel too. He talks about Chelsea on this channel too. I think we have a podcast with him here, and he'll be coming back on Friday to talk in depthly, about that Chelsea and Tottenham game. So you guys will have to join us with Lee Osage Izeko, and he says something here. Chelsea made a big mistake selling Kevin De Bruyne. What do you think about that statement? I think it's true, and
I
they
don't
sold him
know.
for so cheap.
I don't know actually. Obviously, you look at it now and what the player is what he's grown
Yeah,
into, and you would
yeah,
say that 100%. But like they say, hindsight's a wonderful thing because you can't keep every player. The players you bring through, you just can't keep them
exactly.
all. And if they're not playing and not getting the minutes, and a
Yeah,
suitable offer comes in, you let them go. Obviously, the staff at Chelsea just didn't see it. Sometimes the players just do improve. You don't know
yeah,
what they saw behind the scenes. Maybe he just wasn't cutting it. Might not have looked like he was going to grow into it.
yeah.
Obviously, like you look at it and you would say, well, you'd say it's obvious because he's one of the best players in the world. But
In
at
the
the
world.
time, he's not playing. He's not getting a chance to. They did what was best for Kevin De Bruyne and let him go. They probably wanted to keep him, and just because it's always good to have players on your bench, good players in reserve.
Yeah,
But they did good. They just did good for his career. Like pretty much every club's let a big player go. Obviously, United with Pogba, us with Gnabry
with
and
Pogba.
Benatia,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
every club lets go a couple of players that end up going.
End up
Barcelona,
going, and even
Barcelona.
even Osage here is even talking about Salah. Salah also left. He wasn't really that an exceptional player when he was
They didn't show it.
at Chelsea, and,
They
and
didn't
and
show
now
it at
just look
Chelsea.
at
They
him.
didn't show it. They didn't show it at Chelsea. You've got players
Yeah,
on your books. You pay obviously even for the low, you're paying big money. So just to get them wages off your books. But if
yeah,
you know what they're going to go into, you would say yeah. But like De Bruyne was young. I think Salah wasn't as young, but he didn't. He wasn't showing it, was he?
yeah,
So but
exactly.
I don't think no
Yeah.
one remembers Salah at Chelsea. No one remembers him
No
at
one
all.
completely remembers,
So
but again, I also
it
think it's to the changing dynamics of the team. You can look at Liverpool. He has the freedom to move from that wing area, even to the 18-yard box. He's always there. He's always running. He has the license to move. But when he was at Chelsea, he never had that freedom to actually move the way he wanted. And of course, lots of coaching influences in and about Chelsea when he was there also. So lots of changes, but at least in Liverpool, he was always free to roam. He's always free to roam about in about that 18-yard box and from the flanks. Anywhere, he's always there.
is a completely different. He's a completely different player at Liverpool. He's not the player he was at Chelsea. He's older, wiser, obviously a lot more confident. His
Yeah,
confidence would have been low at Chelsea. If it had kept him at Chelsea, there's a very good chance. I'd say 100% chance that he wouldn't have turned out to be the player that he was. That move to Italy has helped him massively. Liverpool snapped
massively.
him up, and he's grown into world class player. Sometimes you just
Yeah.
have to let him go. Sometimes.
Exactly. Big ups to Babalola Lasisi. Keep it up, Arsenal. That's what he says. Yeah, my guy.
Hopefully.
Um, Tanya Hove says Koig. Tanya, thanks for showing up to the show. Melon, he says hello, my man. And
Thanks, Melon.
thanks, Melon. Yeah, we have something here from Ogbeni Ridwan, our regular here. And he says something. He says, I watched the City game and couldn't find any weakness in that team. simply impenetrable, waiting to see what tactics other teams will use against them. Sure, Arteta is paying attention as well. What do you think? Because Ryan, what do you really think, especially in this one? Because mind you, Arsenal have to go into the den of these big teams. We have to go there, produce a result, at least a 1-1 draw from Man City. We have to go to Liverpool and at least challenge them.
Yeah,
If teams like Fulham, are holding their own against Liverpool. If Crystal Palace are holding their own against Liverpool, Arsenal should surely be competing, should be ready to score goals against these people, defend properly, have a very very good midfield, and have that defensive structure going into those matches. What do you think?
yeah. It was a good comment about City, about the way they play, and just all the players coming in doing the jobs 100%. Even Nathan Ake has come back into the central defence and looks like he's played there for 3 seasons.
Yeah,
Um, Looked
strong.
like they were selling him in the summer, and now they're playing him, and he looks like he belongs there. So
Exactly.
fair play, well done to him. Yeah,
Well
and
done to him. Yeah.
Arteta's paying attention. I think what we would do when we play City in October is just go for it. Don't sit back. Don't allow
Yeah.
them the ball. Just attack them.
Attack.
We've got the players and the wings
Yeah.
to attack them. Just take it to them. Don't sit back. Don't show them.
Any respect
Yeah,
at all,
don't.
right?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, don't show them any respect. Just attack them like we attacked Crystal Palace
Yeah.
and stuff. Just go for it.
Yeah.
If you go, I've always said if we go for it and lose, but I've seen that we've gone for it 100%. You're not
Yeah.
really going to argue against it. But if we sit back, allow them to attack us, that's when you're gonna. That's when we're complaining about it. But just go
Yeah.
for it, push it to
Yeah.
them, attack them. We'll see what happens in October 20th. But I, last time, obviously, last time they played at the Emirates, we played them off the park for 70 minutes.
Yeah.
Two dodgy decisions from the referee. Well, not just two, more than that, but two obvious dodgy decisions.
Yeah.
And they had that complete winners mentality to do us at the
Yeah.
end. That obviously their second goal was nothing to do with luck or the referee. It was just them showing the absolute winners mentality, which is what
Yeah.
it's what we need to try and adopt this season.
Yeah.
It's why we've brought in Jesus and Zinchenko. They've come from City. They've got that mentality, that winners mentality. Hopefully, we'll be
Yeah.
able to show it when we play them. And just put in all I can ask for is a performance.
Just put in a good shift. Even if you lose 1-0, hey man, Princess Adora Adibe. Well done, Claude. Princess, thank you very, very much for showing up to the show. You loved hair. Thank you very, very much. And she has her own channel. You guys go, like, subscribe to her channel too. Princess Adora Adibe. Lovely human being she is. Yeah. See, Ryan, the thing there is that Arsenal this season, I, I want them to go into Manchester City Stadium. Don't sit back. Don't give them any kind of respect. Go there, kick the ball in and about. You know, toss the ball, keep them running. Face them head on, because teams like Manchester City and Liverpool, they feed off your fear, and that's the thing with this championship side. They are ready to scrap. Mostly the ones that just got promoted. These guys are ready for they're really ready to scrap. They want to fight. Once you start giving these bigger teams respect, lots of respect, they have the time to completely obliterate you, completely destroy you. And that's why teams like Fulham are doing so well, because they're not afraid to go for those tackles. They're not afraid to actually go and try to score goals through Mitrovic. There's a change in dynamic, and I want Arsenal to see what's really going on, and key into it. We'll go to the next game, and this is Chelsea. Chelsea versus Spurs. This was a big game, wasn't it, Ryan?
Yeah, 100%. But just before we go there, obviously you said about Fulham turning up to Liverpool.
Yeah,
I'm just annoyed that they didn't turn up at Wolves. Mitrovic after his performance. I said I said he was going to look like a very good striker this year.
he
This
is.
this year he announced himself in the Prem, and
Yeah,
then doesn't turn up in the game, misses a penalty, and just performs like he did last time he was in the Prem. If
yeah,
Fulham want to stay here, they can't just turn up at the big clubs. Obviously, you go to a big club, you've just got that. You've just got that. Maybe you've got that confidence. You're more excited, and you're going for it because it's a big
yeah,
club. Let's take a big club
yeah,
down, and let's add it to have that as that one result over the season that we can look back at. No, go for every
no.
single game. Try and
Go
take
for
every.
every single ball. Attack,
They could have
attack,
beat.
attack.
They could have beat Wolves, which would have been good for us in a fighting for them top places as well. But
Yeah.
well, like I said, they need to perform. They need to perform every game.
Yeah, but the main thing there is that they're fighting. They're fighting. You see, the players, they're hungry. They want to stay in the Premier League. If teams like Crystal Palace, are doing quite well here, if teams like Southampton are doing quite well here, these other teams are seeing that, hey, we actually can do this. We can fight. And I see that hunger. They're hungry. To stay in the league. Very, very hungry. But hey, let's talk about this Chelsea Tottenham game. Chelsea 2, Tottenham 2. The crowd in there, it was buzzing at the bridge. It's been long, when I've seen the temperature of of a football game being tense in that way. What a tense match, Ryan Maguire, don't you think?
Obviously, I don't ever want to support any of them two clubs, but being a fan there for that game would have been off the charts. The noise coming through was amazing. You could tell
Yeah.
both sets of fans completely up for it. The benches and the managers completely up for it, 110%. That's what it's just what you wanted to see. It was a great game. I'm not going to make any stupid comments like it's a man's game again. Like we're not we're not dinosaurs in here, but
Yeah.
it was good to see a passionate game where with what looked like both clubs are 100% going for
Yeah.
it.
They
But
were going for it legitimately. They
yeah,
both went for it.
my main point though is that Chelsea it should not have been 2-2 at all. Chelsea should have ran away with
Yeah.
it. The chances that
Without.
they had, they just couldn't kill the game off. And then you've got to say credit to the other lot for staying in there and getting that, getting them equalize to get an equalizer, and then the other team score again. Can just
Again.
knock you for absolute six, and it
Yeah.
can really put your chin on the floor. But they didn't do that at Tottenham, and then Chelsea had a couple more chances after that where they should have sealed it. I think Havertz steamed in at one point, cross into
Yeah.
him, and he was like inches wide. But they need to be putting them chances in,
We're putting
especially
them chances in. There were
especially
chances from
at home to
Loftus
rivals like
Cheek.
that.
See, yeah. There's a reason. There's a reason why Chelsea, are two-time Champions League winners. They're not a small team. They're a big team, legitimately in London. Uh, there is this dynamic I've seen from Chelsea in the first game in the Premiership last weekend. They won the game 1-0. It wasn't really like a very high intensity kind of match, but they did enough to just get that that 1-0 win. Many people, many critics out there looked at Chelsea like, hey, Chelsea, their game was just drab. It's just there. They just managed to win. It's not an exciting team. This is the Premiership. You can see when Chelsea decide to turn it up the notch just a little bit, just a little bit. They can turn into something else, and this showed last week when I was talking about Chelsea with Osage Lee Izeko. I knew that they would turn up. I knew they would turn up big time. From their first game that was a little bit drab. This one had everything: excitement, the passion, the goals, the struggles. Everything was there. Cucurella, amazing player, brings a different dynamic into that team. Loftus Chick turned into a turned into a Diego Maradona on that field. It was just awesome to see Chelsea just turn it up a notch. Sterling was moving both from the wings. He was. You could actually see the freedom that was given to him in that match. It was in from the wings, and even playing as the number nine. Also, there were chants and chants and chants for them to put that game to bed. Uh, Even Tottenham, they had their own chances too. They should have killed that game too. But Chelsea lacked that game management skill. So, what do you say to that, Ryan? Game management.
I think Chelsea are going to come away um, feeling pretty much like a loss, especially with the way they played. They just they just couldn't see it out. Like like we're saying, what when you've got them lead, you've got to try your best to try. Everyone
Yeah,
pretty much stick to your positions. You're going to be attacked. Like I always say,
yeah,
the Premier League teams, no matter who you are, they're going to attack you. They're going to get the chances on goal. You've just got to stand up, stay in your positions, get to the ball first, win the second balls. Um, but Tottenham, when they had when they had the two main chances and took the goals and absolutely stole the game, they
yeah.
got that second ball, and that was what got it for them.
And there's lots of criticisms about the refereeing. Anthony Taylor, what are you doing? Lots of penalty shouts here and there. Lots of fouls being committed, red cards to the coaching box. Uh, there's something about Premiership referees that I don't just like. They're not firm, and a decision that they're not consistent with their decisions. It's
No
cool and
consistency
okay
at
if
all.
you take a stance and say this is what I want, in a game, but you should be consistent enough to keeping that same cadence when it comes to sticking to your guns. And that's why we have the VAR to check all these misconceptions. But even the VAR isn't really even helping either, in it, Ryan. What do you say? Just like Lee Ezeko is saying here, what a game that was. Both teams went for it. It was Chelsea's game, if not for some of Anthony Taylor's decision. He's just doubling down here on what I just talked about that refereeing decisions. What do you say to this, Ryan? What
You,
impact did refereeing had in that game?
you can talk about refereeing decisions in the Premier League until the cows come home. It's just you're like 100%. It's just not consistent. It,
Yeah,
I've gone off there.
no,
Um,
you've not.
like I'm saying, if every time there was a shove in the say in the penalty area, if every week there was
Yeah,
a shove and a penalty was
yeah,
given, as everyone the referee was consistent in every game, you won't complain about it. But you just know that there's going to be decision one week, the exact same thing's going to happen the week after, and nothing's given, no free kick, no card, no nothing.
nothing, no free kick. Yeah,
You're just looking for consistency. So then you can say, yeah, because that's a foul because it was a foul last week and it was a foul on him and it's a foul on him. But
yeah,
like you say, exactly like you're saying, we just need more consistency. And then and
yeah,
VAR, there's some decisions that go to VAR and you think, yeah, that should have gone, that was fine. But then some cases just don't get looked at all. Why is
yeah.
VAR not had a quick look at that? And
Exactly.
they've just waved it off.
Yeah, exactly. That's why the VAR is there. That's why the VAR is there. I genuinely, okay, I know we're podcasters, but here is an Arsenal fan channel. I genuinely wanted Tottenham to lose that game. I don't want Spurs winning any of their games, even getting draws. I don't want them because they have one of the most deadliest. strike force in the Premiership right now. Teams should be scared after what they did at the bridge, coming back. From dampeners, Chelsea scored. You could see Koulibaly. What do you think? Chelsea brought in Koulibaly to shore up that defense. What do you think Koulibaly brings to that team? You saw that first goal, it was absolutely breathtaking. His control of that ball, it just gives you that Didier Drogba vibes all over again, and he's not even a striker. What do you say to Koulibaly's goal and what he's doing with that team right now? He's solid, isn't it?
He's a very solid defender. He's a very very good central defender. Just
Yeah.
knows how to play his role, just down to a T. And then popping up, getting a goal on pretty much his second or third game. Like what we've got in Gabriel, a good defender and a good goal scoring defender too. Just he looks like he's going to be 100% a sound player for him.
Yeah, yeah, and we have Lee also doubles down again. He says not to complain much, but it's a game of football. Sometimes a ref's decision can make the difference. Yeah, I totally agree. But again, I still think that Tottenham, they deserve the draw, innit? If we're looking at it
No,
objectively, do you
no,
think
no,
that they
no.
deserve the draw?
No, no, not a chance. Not a chance. Um, Chelsea gave them the draw. They was giving it.
It was
The amount,
given, yeah.
the amount of
Yeah,
chances that Chelsea had when it when it is a draw, you can say, well, it is a draw. We must have deserved it, but Chelsea should have played the roles that they were that they should do when you're defending a corner or a free
yeah.
kick or a close free kick. They didn't do that. They didn't take the numerous chances that they had. If they'd have taken the
Wave
chance,
after
they would have
wave
been
of chances.
easily ran away with it. Um,
Exactly. Waves of chances.
the
Waves
Tottenham
of
that
chances.
the Tottenham that we seen against Southampton to win 4-1, the 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 challengers for the top two, like that, like they was being spoke of, and like we said on here that they played very well, and then other teams should be looking at them and thinking Tottenham might be challenging, maybe not challenging, but the closest to the top two. That
Yeah.
that didn't show up yesterday until the last few moments when they was going for the first equalizer and the second equalizer.
Yeah. Um, uh, we have a friend of this show, also Tony Gerard TV. Is a very, very, very big friend of this station, and we hope to have him soon on the channel to come talk football with us too. Tony Gerard, shout out to you, and we love you here, man. He says something very crucial here. He says, Tuchel tactically outsmarted Conte. Chelsea should have scored more and were naive in the decisive moments. I completely agree. I completely agree with him. Chelsea couldn't score wave after wave after wave of chances. Uh, I still think that this I still think that they would have done with a Lukaku in this team, someone to just poach those goals, who would be in and about the 18-yard box to just poach these goals. This
Yeah,
is where they need a Lukaku.
yeah,
Last season they didn't have the creativity they have right now with Sterling coming up. And we could see Loftus Cheek, Pulisic. They didn't really have that good vibe going on. But with all these chances that were laid bare last weekend without anyone scoring, and they don't have a potential deadly striker to poach in those goals, it it calls for an inquest. Uh, why didn't Chelsea do any striker business this season? And I'm saying this because I don't consider Sterling to be a striker. I consider him to be a winger. So it doesn't matter if they push him in and about the flanks, or they push him into that number nine position. I see him as a winger. What do you think? What do you think about this, Ryan?
Yeah,
Chelsea striking problems.
100%. He is definitely a winger. He's definitely better as a winger. We see that for England when he plays at the side of Kane. He can get in good in great positions, and he does score a lot of goals. But they definitely are missing that number nine player. Um,
Yeah,
City with Haaland and Liverpool signing Nunes, that kind of player they definitely needed. And you could tell last year when they got Lukaku back that they had targeted that position, but there's definitely a few strikers about they could easily pick up this year. This transfer window, they just
this and that's the good thing about the transfer market. It's still open. You can actually go there and bamboozle players. Ask for the for striking reinforcement, because Chelsea. I see Chelsea struggling a little bit in that striking department, because when you have wave after wave after wave of those chances, and no one seems to score, and I'll even give you an example. Players like there were good runs from Loftus Cheek. He had to dribble, 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 dribble in and about the 18-yard box. Even Sterling wasn't even direct with his strikes. He had to, wriggle through 1, 2 players. While a player like a Lukaku on his day would just get that ball and shoot it once into the net, or maybe not into the net, but he's just going to go on the offensive and shoot. That was what Chelsea was missing in that game. A killer. If they had someone like a Gabriel Jesus, it, it would have been rest in peace, Tottenham. Last weekend, so I still see this as a genuine problem. But people will have their doubts over what I just said. But let's see what our comment section here. Yes, so Benny read one. Yes, especially the hair pull. Yeah, I saw that. Refereeing in England is something different. Yeah, Tony Gerald say something here. Chelsea game was intense. Spurs doesn't deserve a draw in that game. Do you think that's a bit harsh, Ryan? I know we've talked
fully
about
agree.
it a little bit, but
I fully agree. I
you
fully
fully
agree.
agree, right? Yeah. Okay.
In terms of Chelsea in the striker department, I don't
Yeah.
see no reason why they can't go for Ivan Tony. Give Tony
Yeah.
go.
Just go for
Oh,
even Tony.
great
Yeah.
striker, great
Yeah.
striker.
Go for even Tony.
I see him slotting in perfectly. To be honest,
Yeah. Go for even Tony. You're a big club. This is the problem I'm having with English royalty. Big clubs in the Premiership. If you're a big club, act like a big club. Go into the transfer market, bully these little teams out there. Take away their strikers, give them what they want. You want 50 million? Take 50 million for your striker. You want 60 million? Ivan Tony's an English striker. Good and okay. He will come with those big tabs. It's okay. But it's that kind of striker that you could say, okay, Brentford will definitely ask for a 50, 60. You have a billionaire as the owner of your team.
they can
Go
afford it.
there and present
100%.
a 70 million
Yeah,
package. Dash them the 10 million. Just give it to them. Get an Ivan Tony and get your goals. It's as simple as that, isn't it,
yeah.
Ryan?
Someone like Tony, a big, strong, absolute workhorse, would be perfect for him. Would be absolutely perfect. There's no shying away in the guy. He'll just go for every game. Try and take the game by the scruff of the neck. Sometimes you can see
Yeah.
what he plays for
I, I,
Brentford. It
I,
would be a quality player.
exactly. I really think me and you have to have a separate 1 hour show where we'll talk about these transfers, because I really think that big clubs, English royalty in the Premiership, are really doing a very they're having a very bad transfer window at this time. If you're a big club, you've made money all of these years. You have sugar daddies as the owners of your clubs. You should be putting in big money in buying strikers. You just let a Lukaku go to Inter Milan. You have the money, right? You have a billionaire back in your club right now. Why aren't you in there for big strikers? Why aren't you getting Aubameyang right now, paying that money, getting an Aubameyang right now? Why aren't you going in for an Ivan Tony, putting up the cash, getting the strikers? Skamaka, the guy who went to West Ham, top striker. Why didn't you throw your hat into that transfer market and take that striker away? Why aren't you there for Lanzini? You need this. You need this. You need to think like a big club when you're in the transfer window. Think big. Go in there. Put up the cash. Get your guys. And then you start getting the goals. Chelsea really needed a finisher in that game. I would just take some of the comments we have here. The comment section is buzzing, Ryan. We should turn this to a 2 hour show. Koulibaly is a solid defender. That strike was awesome. Just what we were talking about, Ryan, in it.
Yeah. 100%.
Yeah.
They've signed him to show up the back. They've signed him to show up the back, and he's gone up front and acted like Didier Drogba with a great finish. Quality
Yeah.
for him.
Quality. Yeah. And Tony Gerrard says something here. Tuchel outsmarted Conte. Yeah, you said that before. Chelsea should have scored more, and we're not having the decisive moment. Okay, we now have Lee here. Lee, Osage, we are going to have our own show on Friday. I know me and you were going to toss about about what Chelsea is doing right now. It's going to be a war between me and you because I really think that you need a striker. I think you need a striker. So we're going to go, back and forth on Friday. So you guys should tune in, But let's see what he has to say. He says, "No, no, Tony, you watched the game. It was Chelsea's game all the way. We missed a number 9 in that game." Yeah, Lee, that's exactly what I'm saying. You missed a number 9. Ryan, please, maybe it's because I'm the one talking. Please talk about this.
I think what he's saying is that when you said Tottenham deserved the draw, I think I'm getting the feeling that's what he's aiming at, which 100%. But to Ozake, obviously, you can say that Tottenham didn't deserve the draw, but if you're not getting the goals in, you don't deserve to win. You
Yeah,
To be honest, you did score two, but you let in two as well. You need that striker that'll kill the game off. And I think Asage knows that himself. To be honest, I think he's just got more of an issue with you saying Spurs deserve the draw. And if that's what it means, then I agree. They didn't deserve the draw. It was a smash and grab. I think they're all down police station giving the numbers in because they absolutely stole the game, but or
yeah,
stole the point even. But it is what it is. It's good for us as well. To be fair, that they only got a point each. A Chelsea win wouldn't have been an issue really because it's at Stamford, expect it. But the
yeah,
the noise around Tottenham would have been massive if they'd have got that win. So I'm just glad that they didn't steal
yeah,
it even
yeah.
more.
Because
With a
Son lost at least two chances in that game. There was an open one-on-one uh, uh, Kane, with Kane and Mende, and he couldn't put it in the back of the net. So that's why I'm saying that Tottenham had their own chances on the day. They could have buried it if they were, that potent in front of goal. But away from Chelsea is a very, very complicated affair right now. We have to do the show justice on Friday when Osage Izeko comes and banter with me on that day. I would relish it on Friday. um Sonny. Sonny is a friend of this show. Sonny Subedi. Uh, he says, "Have an awesome show." Thank you, Sonny. Sonny, I've been a little bit. He hasn't been feeling fine. He's a friend of mine. He hasn't been feeling fine. Speedy recovery to you, Sonny. We know you're a friend of this show. Please just have a speedy recovery. And
get well,
when
mate.
you come around, come join us at the show. Yeah. I want us to move into the next one. Now, this one is Liverpool versus Crystal Palace. I'll let you do the talking on this one. Liverpool won, Crystal Palace won. Ryan, what do you say to this? And you have to also understand that Crystal Palace played Arsenal last weekend. So just give us what you think about that match.
Crystal Palace doing exactly what Crystal Palace do in
Exactly.
be just being looks like they're just very well coached by Vieira. This strong, they stand up to it. They know the positions, they know the roles. They knew they was going to face pressure from Liverpool, but it was
Yeah.
how they would deal with the pressure, not wandering out of position, sticking to your position, sticking to what you had to do. And
Yeah.
Liverpool, it took them a while to go into the game.
Yeah.
They only probably go into it after about 20 minutes or so. Then they was on it like Liverpool would be, but then it left them. They left a slight gaps at the minute, and it was absolutely exploited by Zaha with the goal.
Oh,
Um, just what Palace would have been set out to do was to catch him on the
yeah.
counter, and then catch him on the counter, and then just if they managed to nick a goal, just try and hold the lead. Then
Hold
obviously,
frustrate them.
yeah, Liverpool in the second half was they pretty much completely dominated the second half until the incident with Nunes getting sent off, which was obviously rash from him. Is obviously is the right was the right decision. I don't think it affected the game too much because even though he was sent off, Liverpool just carried on exactly like they were. Obviously scored after he was sent off, so it didn't really affect
Yeah.
him that much. I think the main way it affected him is that they couldn't sub him and put another attacker on. I feel like that's what they would have done because
Yeah.
he'd missed a couple of chances. He's not getting into the game just yet, but it's only his second game, so he's going to grow into it. They just have to get used to like the demands and the physicality of the league. Because I don't think it had that much of effect in a way, because Liverpool was always going to go into it. If they would have had 11 men on the pitch, though, more than likely is they probably would have got the winner. But um, you just have to see how stubborn Crystal Palace made the game, and that's exactly how they make the game for every single club. So for anyone to get points or a win, especially away at Crystal Palace, you see where I'm going with this. See where I'm going with
Yeah.
this.
I see where you're
There was
going.
there was a comment there was a comment made to you last week that maybe Arsenal was lucky that we played Crystal Palace so early in the season.
Exactly.
The two
Yeah.
games in and they just got a point at Anfield. Don't talk stupid. Um, the
Facts.
the result away at Palace for Arsenal, and obviously we're always going to come back to Arsenal because it's an Arsenal show.
It's
We're
an
Arsenal
Arsenal
fans.
show,
We're
definitely.
always going to go back to it, but it just shows you the performance. And you might have some people are not 100% on Ben White, but what did Zaha do against Arsenal? Nothing. He was in
It's
White
clear
off
to see.
all game.
It's clear to see. It's clear to see. You know, yeah. When we had that show last week, we were being bantered again that even if we won the game, that we had a very poor defensive showing. This just shows you because you cannot go to Selhurst Park, come out with a 2-0 grinded win. We had to grind for that win. There's a heightened level of mental stability and mental strength you have to display when you go to a place like Selhurst Park. It's a different place. It's a lion's den. You go there, you could be mauled. You go there and you could be intimidated by the crowd itself, but not just the crowd itself. We're talking of the physicality of these players. They keep running at you. Zaha keep running at you, trying to take one or two defenders and exploiting those little spaces in about of the 18-yard box and outside of the 18-yard box with a keen eye for a pass to someone like an Edward or to Ayu. They're always running. They have that strength and that engine. Eze keeps looping those diagonals in and about the midfield. Uh, these are technical players. Uh, it was just crystal clear to see what Liverpool passed through. And when I came out a week ago, last week, and I said, "Hey, Arsenal have showed serious, extremely serious mental strength going to Crystal Palace to win." I was criticized, even on Twitter. I was criticized, but your heroes here, Liverpool, your yardsticks, your big time superheroes, uh, even in Anfield, struggling to get even just uh, a good goal, a non-scrappy one against Crystal Palace, and now it's laid bare for everyone to see. It's the Premiership. There's a reason why it's the hardest league and the best league in the world. It's nights like this that makes Premiership, what it is, and I think Arsenal deserve a lot of respect. What do you think, or don't you think we deserve lots of respect? Mostly after what Crystal Palace did to Liverpool.
I I think other than rival fans, I think any other fan would look at the 2-0 at Sellers Park and think, actually, I think Arsenal might be up for this year. Um, you might have looked at it before the season started and predicted us fifth, sixth, or whatever. But going to Palace and winning 2-0 on the first game, you're not going to change your opinion straight away, but you're going to think maybe Arsenal are up for this fight.
Yeah,
Maybe we are showing that we're here. And I think especially a lot of the rival fans are watching All or Nothing as well, which we're going to have to discuss at some time because it's just amazing. But I think a lot of them watching that and thinking they do actually know what they're doing. We are we've said it for a season and a half at least
yeah,
that we can see a process. We can see what we're aiming
yeah,
to be. We can see the
yeah.
signings making to lend to that process. We know what direction we're heading in, and obviously,
Exactly.
rival fans or just other fans aren't going to jump on. Aren't going to jump on with us straight and just going to start agreeing
Yeah,
with
they
us.
they definitely won't be happy with anything we achieved this season. But when as the season progresses, and we see all these teams that Arsenal have beaten take off points from this big four, from this rival critics that we're having now. It will all be laid bare, and everyone would see it. Crystal Palace is a big team, as far as I'm concerned. They took points from the big three last season, and look at Liverpool struggling against Crystal Palace, your heroes. Struggling against them, and while Arsenal beat them at home, and mind you, this was at Anfield. It wasn't even in Selhurst Park. So just imagine Liverpool going to Selhurst Park. What are they going to come out there with? It could be a loss, even the way I see it. But I will leave it for the season to progress,
Yeah.
so that rival critics will look into that. Sonny, thank you very much for coming to the show. Speedy recovery to you, my brother. You're loved in this show, man. Okay, guys, cheers. Back to work for me. Bye, Sonny. It was nice to have you on the show. Um, we have Amy Baba. Hey, Ryan, this is your friend. He likes you very well. Is your big fan. Uh, and he says something here. I agree with Osage. Chelsea ought to win the game if they had a prolific striker. I totally buy that. Hey, Ryan, we get to Arsenal. It's the big one here. Arsenal versus Leicester City. 4-2. The house is yours, Ryan. Just do the honors.
Well, just we continued like we played against Palace. We wasn't as quick, wasn't as fast of a start, but it was well controlled in majority of the part majority of the game.
Yeah.
Obviously Leicester have nicked the two goals, but on the whole, it's just massively positive. It was a result we expected to get. I wouldn't have minded it to be. To, I wouldn't have minded. Obviously, we wanted the clean sheet. We'd have preferred the clean sheet, but still, we're just happy with how we're playing, how we're performing, and special. I want to say especially Jesus, but Martinelli had an absolute sound game again.
Absolute
Martinelli should
great game.
take every corner kick, by the way, because his corners are just whipped straight into the exact position they want. You want pretty much every
Yeah,
time. Great,
yeah.
great pass of the ball, but Jesus just what an absolute signing that first goal. You look like the chance had maybe gone, and he just flicks it
And it
top
just
side goal.
looks it top. Oh my God, that was an absolute beauty. Uh, it takes a striker with an eagle eye to just hatch that kind of a goal. It was just at the outer left hand side, of the 18-yard box, in and about that 18-yard box, where he just looped it in. No keeper in the world can touch that. Uh, it takes a seasoned striker to get those kind of goals in it. What do you think will be the long term effect of Gabriel Jesus to that team? How important is this player to the Arsenal fabric right now in
Like
its
you say, it takes a seasoned
first
striker for that goal. Takes a very confident striker just to be playing at the looks like the top of his game straight away. We just I think we're going to build pretty much our foundations around him for the next God knows how many seasons, quite a few seasons going forward. He's going to be an unwanted attack, and I think obviously Saka and Odegaard are quiet games for the second game on the trot, but it
second game at the trot?
it
Exactly.
shows you where we are, though, that our main two players last year, our biggest, most dependable, the ones we relied on week in, week
Yeah.
out last year, can have two quiet games and we're winning 2-0 away, winning
And
4-2
we're
at home.
winning two
It,
games away. Yeah.
we're not that much dependent on Saka now, where he had all Arsenal on his shoulders last year. It was pretty much
Last year.
he didn't perform, we didn't perform, and that's not needed as much now. Obviously, we'd like to see him having better games, but that'll come 100%. That'll come. So nothing
Yeah.
to. But it's just good to see that we, especially at such a young age for Saka, for us to be that dependent on him, would
On
could just
him. Yeah.
absolutely run him into the ground. So it's good to see Martinelli stepping up, Jesus coming in, even Zinchenko and Tomiyasu when he played.
Lovely game.
Yeah,
Zinchenko had a lovely game. You see, I'll even double down on that. That just like what I said last week. There's this thing with having players that kind of come into a team and seamlessly attach themselves to the idea of how the manager wants to play, uh, and kind of like improves players in and about and around him. Since Jesus has come into this club, he has actually improved Martinelli's game. Mind you, Ryan, you could see that Martinelli has scored back to back games, and we haven't even noticed it yet. That's how good Jesus has made the Arsenal team. That
yeah,
Martinelli has scored two goals on the trot, both in the first game and in the second game, and we haven't even had the chance to actually appreciate the beauty of those goals. We're just talking about his impact alone. That's the magic Gabriel Jesus has brought into this team. Uh, I will even double down on what you said about Saka. Saka had a tumultuous season last season in terms of like uh there was this injury scares all about his game last season. Most players knew that he was our most dangerous player. So they were always giving him hard tackles, sending two-man defenses to actually man Saka. Uh, and at each turn when Saka was always on the floor, uh, the Arsenal faithful at home were just praying it wasn't a big time injury, you know. And the only reason why he came out of those games last season without getting these big injuries because of his age. If he was in his 25s, 26, 27, he'll be coming out with big time injuries, and Arsenal will be having a problem right now. So now this is what Gabriel Jesus brings to this team. He has actually made a Saka game more silent. Even if I still think that Saka had a couple of runs down the flanks, did his team, helped the team, and helped the fullback show up things in the defensive area a bit. Still, you could still see that Jesus has been able to take away that big weight that was uh, on this young guy's back last season. It's kind of like made him a little bit more free in the eye, and in further games to come, you will definitely see a more freer, a more you'll see lots of freedom and ease of play coming from Saka. That's what I think from the oncoming games because he'll be playing more freer. People, more defenders will be looking at keeping Gabriel Jesus quiet while opening that right flank for Saka to do his damage. And mind you, Martinelli is also running running at that left flank, ready to score. What do you think was Zichenko's contributions to that game against Leicester?
It's just it's is a great left back in terms of he can get forward. He can get forward very well, and and because he can play the central midfield role well, very well as well. He can when he's getting forward, he can
Yeah,
adapt very well further up the field. He knows when to go forward and knows when to come back. And it's one of the things when you say it, you think, well, every defender should know that, but you get stuck up you get stuck up there and you're not got a chance to get back. You can just read it perfectly. His passing's just expert as well. And like every play, every I say it all the time. Like every player that's played for Pep, like properly when Pep depends on them, it's because they don't stop working until when that first whistle blows until the final whistle blows. They just don't stop. They just don't stop at all, and it's just
yeah.
what you want, and it's great to see we've got competition in that left in that
Competition
left
for
back
places.
position.
Yeah. Tony Gerard says something here first. He says Arsenal need to manage games better, and there is the killer Oktoberfest coming. We need to have those points in right now. It will only get tougher. Yeah. It will only get tougher, definitely, Tony. But what would you say about our game management? Just like he has said here, Ryan. What do you think about Arsenal's game management?
It's one of them where you just know that you're going to get attacked by the every team in the Premier League is going to have their chance to go for you. Like we're
Yeah,
saying at the beginning of the show, the teams that get promoted are gonna sniff out attempts. Crystal Palace against Liverpool get the counter attack and they scored and they scored off it. So pretty much every team's gonna concede, and you
definitely.
just what once they play more and they adapt and they can because don't forget obviously
Yeah,
Saliba's new coming into into the central defense.
yeah,
Sinchenko new coming into it. They're still vibing off each other. They're still learning from each other, and
yeah,
more games you'll start to see the cohesion miles better. Um,
yeah,
do agree to a T. Obviously, do agree slightly, I should say, because of the goals conceded.
yeah,
But like, like the Madison goal was very good play from Leicester. The build up was very good. We seemed to switch off slightly. Like I say, it was very good build up play, but it should have been saved from Ramsdale. Really, that should have
yeah.
been saved. It was beaten too easily there.
Too easily there. Yeah. But anyway, Tony Jared says something too. He says, I enjoyed the sheer enthusiasm from Martinelli on Saturday. Big was immense. Saliba can be better too. Love most part of the game. Yeah, the game was it was just an amazing game. Thanks, Ryan, for giving us that insight into that Arsenal game. Yes, now for the big one, Manchester United. Ryan, there's a reason why I there's a reason why I laugh practically at Manchester United. You're coming out from a damaging loss in your first game, uh, and then You go into the heart of London, into Brentford, a team who came into the Premiership last season. Of course, they had they have good players playing down there, so it's expected that to be a tough one for any team going down there. And then Manchester United, coming out from the loss they had last 2 weeks, went into last week's game with their head not really in that game, with their keeper giving up goals for free in and about the 18-yard box. Deji, uh, poor understanding of the game. Uh, Allows the ball to just wriggle through his grabs for the first goal, dashing out the ball to oncoming strikers as a gift, uh, allowing even Tony to bully his defenders and getting goals. What big mess are Manchester United in, Ryan? Just give us a caricature uh, of what of what Manchester United is dealing with this season. And do you really see them going for that relegation scrap this season, just like I've predicted?
Where do I start? Where do we start? First of all, the management from Ten Hag on these first two games is really shocking me. I don't know what he thinks he's doing. You question why he played Ericsson as a false nine. You'd
Yeah,
question that, made no sense. But then to play him as a DM the game after,
yeah.
is he trying to kill him? Does he know? Does he know what Ericsson's gone through? And that's not his position, is it? He's just not.
Oh,
I just don't get it. I
poor.
question whether Ten Hag's watched the league or knows anything about it and knows how strong and how physical it is, because it's not the division, is it? It's not that league. It's completely different. It's miles apart, and it's like it shocked him. Because I don't want to say much about the Martinez signing, because obviously we was in for him too,
Yeah,
but we was in for him at a different position, 100%. We wanted him at left back, not at centre back, and that is what
I'm happy we didn't get him
got
into the
him.
team.
Yeah, maybe at left back, if he was playing at left back, you might see something different. But it's just I just don't know what he's been watching. And I don't think he realised how much of a job he's got on him. But like we're saying, it's still very early days. But the the transfer business is woeful. It's absolutely woeful.
Absolutely woeful.
It's
Absolutely
they've
woeful.
spent all season signing De Jong, trying to sign De Jong.
Yeah,
Um, Someone was saying the other day that maybe um, they wouldn't put this much effort in if they didn't have an inkling that he would want to sign. They must have
yeah,
somewhere. They must have something in the somewhere down the line where a rep from De Jong or De Jong spoke to them and said, if I get me money that I'm owed from Barcelona, I will come to United." They must have that something, because to waste, and I mean waste, the transfer
totally
window
waste the transfer
trying to
window.
sign him. They've they're not letting go of players. Even there's players there that aren't that just aren't leaving. That they're not selling. Maybe they can't sell them. Maybe they're seeing what they're struggling, like what Arsenal have been struggling to get rid of our players. Maybe because of the wages, or people are just
Yeah.
suited. It's just they need signings, and they need signings quick. They 100% need to resolve the Ronaldo situation, which looks like in the last few days it's swung to him actually leaving. Um,
Leaving, yeah.
thought they would have tried to tempt him to stay.
Yeah.
If it agreed to stay, would have been, I think, good for him. But if he doesn't want to be there, then definitely ship him out. Because if they do keep him slightly against his will, and it goes and things go even worse, it's gonna absolutely
The
implode.
problem there is that they don't even have a place where the goals is gonna come from. That's the most amazing. That's the thing people are not really seeing. And when you don't get goals, you're up for a relegation scrap. I don't care how big your name is. If you're not scoring goals in the Premiership, you are up for a relegation scrap, or at least the top bottom half of that league. I think Manchester United need about more seven players to get that team up to shape. They need two central defenders. Maguire, what what are you doing? You are after the horrible season this guy had last season. After the horrible season he had last season, Ten Hag comes up, shows faith in you, and gives you that captain's armband. What do? You move like an headless chicken in and about of that 18-yard box. You push a newly signed defender in Martinez to go take on the big boys, to go take on Ivan Tony. Where is the leadership from this Man United defender called Harry Maguire? Where where is the leadership? Where is your mental toughness? Where is it when you need it? And then you leave Martinez to be fully roasted by these guys, so that it will be like, oh, okay, it's Martinez that was that had the problem. No, it falls back to you. You're the captain of that team, and you're playing like that. It- in defending, it was a horror show. The passing from the back, in which I think they would have lots of problems there this season, just like how Arsenal had problems playing from the back before it became more fluid. I think there are more mistakes to come, and their season is not even getting more easier. They meet a Liverpool in their next game. What do you think about that, Ryan?
Well, like I said, they've got Liverpool in the next game. Next 10 games: Liverpool, Arsenal, Newcastle. Just just all the
Ogbeni
all,
Ridwan says Man United, the big one indeed.
yeah. They
Exactly,
get
Ogbeni Ridwan.
the hard games in the Premier League just do not stop. You'll play one of the big clubs one week. You'll play a mid-table club one week who will act like a big club, and then you'll play a small. You'll play someone from who maybe in the relegation places, but you'll play
Yeah.
them. They're playing against a big club, so they're more up for it. They want the win. You struggle in this.
What's your prediction for that match? I completely think that Manchester United will be. Is there a bigger word than exterminate? Like extermination? Is there a
I
bigger
don't.
word than
I,
that?
I
I'm
don't know
an
about this.
English teacher, but I'm looking for a more bigger word that's bigger than exterminate.
At
Um,
the Tony, at the weekend, you predicted Liverpool to win what 7-0. After their performance against Palace, do you still think it'll be that big, or do you think it'll be closer?
I never predicted that Liverpool would win that match. I said it was going to be difficult
No,
against Crystal
Liverpool be
Palace.
United. Liverpool be United. You
Yeah,
said we might beat United about 7-0.
yeah. Uh, I'm thinking that Manchester United would pick up just a goal, and they'll be mauled, completely destroyed by an angry and hungry Liverpool by 7 goals to 1. That's my prediction for the match. That's what I think it's legitimately going to happen, and we're going to see lots of mistakes. Manchester United will lose up to 3 to 4, up to 4 games in at a trot. It will be all losses. And I foresee after the 11th game, Ten Hag's job being questioned. He might be sacked in the next two
Yeah.
months,
Well,
Ryan.
he's gonna have to change. He's gonna have to change some things. He's gonna have to change it up. It doesn't look to me, and I might be wrong because obviously I don't work behind the scenes at Man United, so it's just what I'm just saying what I can see. But it doesn't look like he's gone in there and said, "Right, this is my team. I'm gonna
Yeah, I'm
let's
going to change stuff. Yeah.
put stuff into it." He should have walked. He basically could have just walked in there after last year's season and said, "Right, we'll start with blank, and I'll say what goals from now on, and who plays here and what." Just maybe even a big statement would be to strip Maguire of the captaincy. not in terms of
That should be the first thing.
yeah.
Strip that guy off. He's like an headless chicken in in that defense. He, he has no awareness. Uh, he's just static. He mopes while strikers are doing damage in the 18-yard box. He's completely totally unaware. He shouldn't be donning the Manchester United shirt. I'm sorry, I'm passionate about this because it's. I love that Manchester United are struggling, but it, it's still, you still have this kind of feeling like these are not the rivals, that Arsenal used to idolize before. It's a completely different team. The defense is in a shambles. Why isn't Bailey having his chance in that team? What makes a Bailey not better than a Harry Maguire? Like why? Why isn't he playing? Why?
Not even Bailey. They've got Varane sitting on the bench.
Yeah, they have Varane.
Multi
Huh?
Champions
Oh,
League winner with Real Madrid, who was
exactly, sitting in that bench. Why?
but
Why is this going on? And this club is English royalty. And the thing about English royalty I keep talking about is that when you're an English royalty in the Premiership, there's certain privilege you get. Privilege to money, privilege to a big name, your antecedent, what you've done in the past. And then a team like Manchester United comes into a transfer window, the most important transfer window in the last decade. Push it backwards to the last 20 years. This is supposed to be the most important in the history of Manchester United because you're in a rebuilding phase with a new coach who just was just coming in from the Eredivisie, completely has no understanding about the technical abilities of these players. Definitely, it's all laid bare to see. And then Manchester United, an English royalty, spent, and just at the time when the Premiership is celebrating 30 years of the English Premiership, they go out there in Brentford and lose not 1-0, not 2-0, not 3-0, but 4-0. And right now, they've not been able to still sign a striker. They've not been able to still sign the big midfielder they've been looking for. And at the back, they still need about two central defenders. And you're a big club, English royalty in the Premiership, and you've done completely no good business. And I still think, I'm sorry, I like Martinez as a player. I wanted him to come to Arsenal. But still, seeing him play for Manchester United, seeing his height against Ivan Tony, I don't think I want that player in anywhere near Arsenal Football Club. He was out muscled and bullied by Ivan Tony. What will happen when you meet a player like Salah coming right at you? Uh, You're going to you're going to capitulate just at seeing Salah. Uh, I don't know. Ryan, which club is going to be awarded your coveted award for the Banter Club of the Week?
Tony,
Uh,
just want to say before we say that, like I said to you last week, if you want to rewind,
yeah,
if I'm Tony, I aim for Martinez, and that is exactly what he did. Um, for
exactly.
me, for me, United, if to play like Ten Hag plays, they're going to need to replace the goalkeeper.
Yeah.
They're going to need new right back, maybe left back. Need a central mid. They need a winger, a forward.
They need 10 players. They need two strikers because Ronaldo's head is not there. He wants to leave. He wants to go. Sancho is not scoring. Rashford is
Not the player they thought they signed. In it, he's just not the player they thought.
it's beyond words. I don't want to say anything, about Rashford. And then you're playing Ericsson as a false nine. Uh,
And then DM the next week. It just that screams to me that you don't have a clue um what to do or how to play a squad
how
against.
to play a squad? Yeah,
He
exactly.
needs he needs he needs a good a proper Premier League proven assistant manager to
Yeah,
say just to help, maybe just to help him, guide him on just how strong the Premier League is.
It's
Because who've they got in the minute? Steve McLaren, is it? What a
yeah, yeah.
what a joke of an appointment that is. And that mainly is why United are this week's banter club again.
Yes, you heard it right, and you heard it right here. The famous Ryan Awards for the Banter Club of the Week goes to Manchester United
All
for the
all week
second week on the trot.
all
What a
week
shame.
I wanted to give it to Tottenham. Any
To
United
Tottenham,
fans that are
yeah,
watching, I wanted Tottenham to lose heavily or even a
heavily.
bit. I
Yeah,
would give it to them just to the big up of the fans, but they couldn't
yeah,
do it. Especially we knew on Saturday it was going to. Um,
yeah.
there's a lot of work
Yeah,
needed there.
we just have to admit that Manchester United is in the worst position they found themselves in years. Just the same thing that Arsenal was, was facing last season. But it's
Yeah,
good for our rivals to face that and experience what we did experience last season. Ryan, thanks for the show today. You've been absolutely amazing. 1 hour, 30 minutes. And we didn't even really cover almost everything we wanted. So you see that there's lots of content here and good analysis here. It's big energy whenever I'm with you, apart from you being a business partner, a friend now, and a podcaster here. Thank you very much for joining us in this show. What do you
thanks,
say to the
Claude.
fans, Ryan?
And thanks to everyone that's watched, everyone that's comment. Like I say, any comments, we'll get them up there. We will answer any questions. Anyone can get involved. 100%. Anyone watching afterwards, like, comment, subscribe. You'll love dear. We again we thank you for watching, and God bless you all.
Yeah. Thank you, everyone, for joining us on the Ryan and Claude show, which is a flagship show of the Tony Claude Gunner TV. But hey, a big one is coming tomorrow. Deji Spores graces the show tomorrow. And after the showing of Tottenham Hotspur last weekend, you guys have to join us for tomorrow. Deji Spores would be a very, very big one tomorrow. So you join us same time tomorrow, 7 p.m. Sorry, 8 p.m. UK time tomorrow for the Minority Report. And that's with Deji Spores. I'll be sending out the flyers tomorrow morning. And we'll also be welcoming back the United family, Ola, for the
If he can
rival
show his
show.
head this time, if he can show his head
Exactly.
this time,
They are no longer our rivals. They are rivals with Everton and all these other banter clubs right now.
and
But
Bournemouth.
and Bournemouth. Ola, you heard that, right? So Ola will be coming here on Thursday. And I have a very, very big one with Osage Lee Izeko. It's a big one. Chelsea, that's on Friday. So we'll be talking Chelsea. It's all about Chelsea. Uh, and we'll also talk about the Premier League and, the changing dynamics within it. And we'll also preview some other games that are coming up during the weekend, but it will be mostly talking about Arsenal and Chelsea. That'll be a big one on Friday. I'll send the flyers on Thursday. So thank you, viewers. Thank you, everyone. And, let's do it. Join me tomorrow as I battle it again with the big mouth himself, Deji Spores, as he graces the show tomorrow on the Minority Report. Thank you, everyone. And Ryan, thank you very much.
God
Uh,
bless everyone. Thanks for
see
watching.
everyone soon. Bye.